In a world filled with captivating stories and unforgettable moments, history leaves us spellbound. From iconic events that shaped nations to intimate glimpses into the lives of ordinary people, these photographs hold the power to transcend time and leave an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. Unlock the secrets behind these fascinating snapshots of the past. Here are 50 rare historical photos that will leave you speechless. Number 50. A Japanese couple taking a self-portrait together in 1920. Timeless photos like this prove that, although 100 years apart, we are today no different from those that came before us. It also shows just how easily circumstances can change, even today. Number 49. Dr. Louis SAYRE treating a teenage girl with scoliosis. This may look like a scene from 50 Shades of Grey, but this is actually Dr. SAYRE in 1877 with his suspension device for the treatment of scoliosis. Number 48. This revolver camera shot a picture and a bullet simultaneously. Used in New York back in 1938, this revolver camera was a Colt 38 with a tiny camera that would capture a photograph whenever the trigger was pulled. The camera is in the Dutch National Archives Flickr stream. Number 47. First Soviet night vision goggles. The first night vision goggles were developed in the early 1940s by the Soviet Union. Some were designed to be attached to cars, while others were portable. The first goggles were put on a Gaz AA truck and looked like binoculars with an electronic optical light converter. The system was powered by a set of batteries inside the truck. Number 46. People taking driving class at Michigan Highland Park University. The photo comes from a driver's education class back in 1939. It was being held at Highland Park, Michigan, as a means for the college students of the time to safely understand how to operate an automobile. Number 45. Inside the Royal Hungarian salt mine of DÉSAKNA. What will future archaeologists say 10,000 years from now when they discover these underground salt mines? It's likely that they'll have the same problems explaining it as we do today, explaining these strange stone walls. Number 44. Major General Horatio Gordon Robley with his collection of tattooed Maori heads, 1895. While these heads can be found in private antique collections all over the world, General Horatio Gordon Robley's massive head collection was purchased by the Natural History Museum and New York City. Number 43. A flying car in the late 1940s. This flying car was designed by Theodore Hall during the post-war aviation boom. This has been an ongoing dream since the 1950s, when a number of companies built prototypes and tried, with spectacularly unsuccessful results, to get their companies off the ground. Number 42. A comparison aerial photo of Hiroshima before and after the atomic bombing on August 6, 1945. In early August 1945, warfare changed forever when the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, devastating the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and killing more than 100,000 people. Number 41. This pretend town in Seattle, Washington, 1945. During World War II, the Boeing bomber factory was disguised as a neighborhood to throw off possible air attacks. The idea was to blend the facility into the surrounding neighborhood across the river. Number 40. Members of the Komsomol Committee evaluating prospective candidates for Miss Riga beauty pageant, Latvian SSR, 1988. A total of 50 girls and women applied, and following 6 casting sessions, 10 young women made it into the finals. Among them were school and university students, a guide, a typist, an artist, and a model. They were aged 17 to 23. Number 39. Facial contortionist ALFRED HIGHLAND gurning during Glasgow's Empire exhibition, held at Bella Houston Park near Glasgow, 21st of May, 1938. Number 38. Dorian, Leigh, and Maurice Tillet by Irving Penn, 1945. Maurice Tillet, the French Angel, a Russian-born French professional wrestler who is said to have been the inspiration for Shrek, photographed with the American model Dorian Leigh, circa 1940s. Number 37. Statue of David by Michelangelo. Encased in bricks to prevent damage from bombs during World War II. The encasement only gets passing mentions, though, in histories of art preservation in the midst and aftermath of World War II. 36. Pianos for bedridden musicians from the 1930s. The contraption, believed to have been invented in Great Britain, sits at the foot of the individual's bed and extends towards their hands. It's not dissimilar from a modern-day keyboard, just a little clunkier. Number 35. President Lincoln lying in state. The body of the former U.S. President Abraham Lincoln lies in state at New York's City Hall on April 24, 1865, following his assassination by John Wilkes Booth on April 14th of that same year. Painted by Jeremiah Gurney. Number 34. The Beast of Jersey. The mask alleged to have been worn by the notorious sex offender Edward Paynell, aka the Beast of Jersey, who terrorized the Channel Island of Jersey between 1957 and 1971, and was only apprehended after being pulled over by police for running a red light. Number 33. An American soldier shares his binoculars with 3 girls after the liberation of Normandy. 1944. The photo shows an American soldier holding binoculars up to 3 little girls so they're able to glance through the lens. This was after the liberation of Normandy during World War II in 1944. Number 32. Workers unearthing an ancient statue in Egypt circa 1926. It was the discovery of the statue of Ramses II, 1930. Temple of Mut Karnak, Mut Temple Complex, Egypt. Number 31. Photograph capturing the crossfire between both armies on the border between Finland and the Soviet Union on the first day of the Winter War. The Winter War of 1939 to 1940, also known as the Russo-Finnish War, saw the tiny Finnish army take on the might of the Soviet Union's gigantic Red Army. There was mistrust between the two countries. Number 30. Photograph of a family standing underneath a blooming almond tree beside the ruins of the temples of Castor and Pollux in the Temples Valley of Agrigento in Italy, 1906. The Temple of the Dioscuri, or Temple of Castor and Pollux, is one of the symbols of the Valley of the Temples, together with the Temple of Concordia. Its present appearance, however, is the result of a reconstruction process carried out in the 19th century by the Commission of Antiquities of Sicily. Number 29. An image taken of exhausted Japanese workers resting inside a Tokyo to Sendai night train in 1964. Japan launched the bullet train service in 1964 when the country was hosting the Olympic Games. In spite of their rather high frequency of departures, Shinkansens are rarely late and have become a symbol of Japanese efficiency and reliability. Number 28. Here's a vintage advertisement from the newspapers promoting weight gain for women in the 1930s. America currently has a $66 billion weight loss industry. That's $66 billion spent by Americans each year in a usually unsuccessful attempt to lose weight with brands like Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem. Even more surprising might be that back in the day, there used to be a thriving weight gain industry. Number 27. Venice beach girls enjoying the company of a, quote, super futuristic beach robot in 1934. Mac the Mechanical Man is a, quote, remote-controlled robot invented by Leighton Hilbert. April 3, 1934, Venice, Los Angeles, California. Introducing Mac the Mechanical Man. Weighing 250 pounds and 7.5 feet in height, this unique robot is controlled by remote control. These Venice beach girls are taking Mac out for a dip in the ocean with the aid of the inventor. Number 26. The Mystery of the Pufferfish Helmets of Kiribati Bot. A Kiribati warrior wearing armor made out of coconut fiber and a pufferfish helmet, while wielding a weapon made from shark's teeth. Taken before 1925. This ceremonial headwear, called pufferfish helmet, was a cultural touchstone before it became a colonial curiosity. Number 25. This picture of a Turkish dancer was taken during the Ottoman era and photographed by Adolfo Zangaki around the 1880s. The Adolfo Zangaki, or Zangaki brothers, known by their probable initials C and G Zangaki, were two brothers of Greek origin, active as photographers in Ottoman Egypt from the 1860s through to the 1890s. Number 24. Photographer Mattie Gunterman took this picture at a cookhouse in British Columbia with sisters Annie and Rose Williams, titled Mattie on a Hot Stove in 1902. The photo has appeared in numerous books and magazines since it was first published in Bruce Ramsay's Ghost Towns of British Columbia in 1963. Ramsay was there when the glass plate negative was salvaged from a barn in Beaton in July 1961. It is now held by the Vancouver Public Library. At the turn of the 20th century, portraits were usually stiffly posed, and subjects showed no emotion or frown. Smiling was either illegal until the 1920s or hadn't been invented yet. So humorous images from that era are something of a revelation. Number 23. Standing over 7 feet tall, these are the two Kashmir giants posing with the American photographer James Rickalton in 1903. The giants were a captivating sight that drew the attention of the crowd. Towering above everyone else, one of the giants stood at an impressive 7 feet 9 inches, or 2.36 meters tall, while the other measured 7 feet 4 inches, or 2.23 meters in height. Number 22. This is a photo of a supposed men's beauty contest from 1919. This is a genuine photograph of 6 men in striped bathing suits in the early 1900s. However, there is no evidence to support the claim that it was taken at a beauty contest. Number 21. The ancient Maya ruins of Palenque, located in the modern-day Chiapas state of Mexico, photographed by British explorer Alfred Maudsley, circa 1880s. The beautiful ruins were once the center of a large city, founded by Pakal the Great, a remarkable ancient Maya ruler who reigned from 615 to 683 AD. Evidence of the Mayan occupation in this fantastic part of Mexico dates way back to 600 CE. Number 20. Police officers Frank Ballou and Samuel Peterson test out a new bulletproof shield by shooting at the shield's inventor, Elliot Wisbrod, 1920s. In this photograph, Wisbrod holds up the metal shield as Lieutenants Frank Ballou and Samuel Peterson fire shots. Number 19. Here are some men from the Brighton Swimming Club in their top hats and swim trunks, taking a group photograph circa 1863. This is a group photograph of 19 members of the Brighton Swimming Club, believed to have been taken by the photographer Benjamin William Bottom in 1863. Number 18. A dedicated peanut vendor wearing a suit made out of peanuts circa 1890. It is from a photograph by Henry H. Buman of Tucson, Arizona. Number 17. A special rain goggle designed for race car drivers in open cars. Invented by Mr. L.A.C. Devoran in the 1930s, the goggles are equipped with wipers powered by an external fan. In an open car, the fan would start moving at about 15 miles per hour, putting the tiny wipers in motion and clearing the water from the lenses. Number 16. An air gunner training simulator, Russian Imperial, circa 1915. This is an excellent example of what true engineering is. getting 80% of the ideal result using 0.01% of the resources needed to achieve it. Number 15. Check out this picture of an old violin case that had been fashioned to hold a Thompson machine gun from 1928. If you're hot on your American gangster movies, you might be familiar with the image of a shotgun tucked away inside an old violin case. Apart from being the ultimate mobster prop, carrying a Tommy gun in a violin case came about as a practical solution in the 1920s to needing to carry a firearm in public. Number 14. A photograph of an alleged William Shakespeare death mask that was rendered in plaster of Paris in 1616, just a day after his death, 1880. The mask, allegedly rendered in plaster of Paris in 1616, a day after his death, shows swelling in both the playwright's forehead and left eye, accounting for decomposition. One professor surmised it was a bone tumor, likely a, quote, chronic annular skin sarcoidosis. Number 13. Miners sitting at their dining table inside a cabin, Colorado, 1890. Few could afford the cost of hauling or shipping furniture. That is why the miners' tables, chairs, and much of their other furniture was homemade. Still, a simply furnished log cabin was more comfortable than living in a small room in a hotel or boarding house. Number 12. Participants of a Miss Lovely Eyes beauty pageant that was held in Florida wearing masks to obscure the rest of their faces, 1930. Miss Lovely Eyes, as you can imagine, was a contest to see who had the most beautiful eyes. However, in their efforts to be trustworthy and righteous, they thought the best way to objectively judge that was by concealing the rest of the face, so the judges wouldn't be biased by the participants' features. Number 11. A wine vessel, Zun, in the shape of a rhino, inlaid with gold and silver, that was excavated in 1963, China, Jiangxi Province. It is believed that this artifact dates back to the period of the Han Dynasty. This bronze Zun adopts the shape of a rhinoceros. The rhinoceros stands with its head up. It is muscular with accurate proportions and a strong posture. Number 10. Passengers watching coin-operated TVs at the LA Greyhound Terminal, circa 1969. Take note of those space-age chairs, ashtrays, phone booths, and terrazzo floors. And look how everyone is dressed. Suits and hats. Number 9. Archaeological workers extract the mummified bodies of 2 adults and 3 children from earth and mold. These bodies are victims of an eruption that buried the ancient city of Pompeii when Mount Vesuvius erupted in the year 79 AD. November 1961. The ancient cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum once thrived near the base of Mount Vesuvius at the Bay of Naples. Number 8. A British doctor disinfects prisoners who have just been released from the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, Germany, 1945. Bergen-Belsen was a Nazi concentration camp in what is today Lower Saxony in northern Germany, southwest of the town of Bergen, near Celle. Originally established as a prisoner of war camp in 1943, parts of it became a concentration camp. Number 7. This photo shows a man begging for his wife's forgiveness the moment they step inside divorce court in Chicago, circa 1948. The image depicts one of the final moments in the marriage of Steve and Anna Strack, who were 37 and 33 at the time, according to a researcher. The photo was a one-off picture published in the Chicago Tribune, unattached to any particular story, and seemingly printed due to its evocative nature. Number 6. 3 friends riding in their vehicle in Ohio, circa 1924. At that time, it was impossible to get a sharp picture of a running car. These 3 guys are probably acting as if they are driving the car. Number 5. This Victorian house, the Lyford House, had to be transported by boat after the house was nearly demolished. California, 1957. This distinctive house was nearly demolished, but was saved by concerned citizens in 1957, who asked if they could move the house. A huge yacht harbor and 2,000 new houses had been planned for the land on which Lyford House sat. In the end, the land was set aside for the Richardson Bay Audubon Center and Sanctuary. Number 4. An accident during a scooter polo match circa 1940s. In the US, scooters first enjoyed wide popularity during the Great Depression. At that time, many children built their own scooters from recycled wood. This promoted a level of freedom and mobility for those who couldn't afford to buy cars. Number 3. Prior to its use as an exercise tool, the treadmill was invented in England as a prison rehabilitation device. Here are prisoners on the treadwheel at Pentonville Prison in 1895. A penal treadmill, or everlasting staircase, was a treadwheel or treadmill with steps set into 2 cast iron wheels. These drove a shaft that could be used to mill corn, pump water, or connect to a large fan for resistance. These were used in prisons during the 19th century in both Britain and the United States. Number 2. This unidentified teenage girl got a little bit carried away during an Elvis Presley concert at the Philadelphia Arena on April 6, 1957. You can tell she was really having a blast. Number 1. To keep workers entertained and informed during long hours of monotonous labor, around 1865, cigar factories began paying a reader or a lector to read a newspaper to their cigar makers. Beginning in Havana in 1865, workers in cigar factories devised a way to keep their minds active and engaged during long hours of monotonous labor. They began paying a reader or lector to read aloud as they went about their delicate and precise work. As we move forward, let us cherish the lessons of the past and strive to create a better future for generations to come. From the hauntingly beautiful to the unimaginable moments frozen in time, these photos have the power to remind us of the incredible stories that have shaped our world. Remember, history is not just a collection of facts. It's a tapestry of stories waiting to be discovered. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.